Welcome, everyone. This is Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Rearden, and I'll be your mindset coach today. And today we're going to be talking about personal development, mindset, progress, fitness, nutrition a little bit, and just how we can get off our butts and start to take more action. Because if we look at what we're doing in our world, what we're doing in our life, there's just so much more for us to do. Yet we might give ourselves an ideal. Oh, I'm doing everything I can. I don't have enough time. Oh, I don't have enough experience. There's always something that is a lack. Yeah, I'm telling you that you are complete. You are ready. You have what it takes. It is time to launch. It is now time for you to make yourself pronounce. Now, just because I say that, it doesn't mean that people are just going to turn off this podcast and start to take action. Because people sometimes they need that fire underneath them. Now that fire can be a trauma, it can be negativity, it can be someone that's going to hold you accountable like a coach, or we can learn how to be that person ourselves. But to be that person, we have to rewire our whole mindset. It takes a long time. It takes years. It took me years. Can we get there a lot quicker? Maybe, yeah. If you have a coach that has been there, done it, sold it, then yeah, they're going to be equipped. They're going to be ready to get you into the right mindset, get all those bad things out of your head, start to put the good things in your head. And today we're going to be talking with a coach, Shea Fox, who is a personal development coach who's going to be helping us understand how we can develop into the person that we're supposed to be. Because again, we have so much potential. Do you understand how much potential is within you? Most people don't. Let's see if we can start to uncover that together. Here's that interview with Shea Fox and myself. Welcome, Shea Fox, to Coaching in Session. How are you doing today?
Good, Michael. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for coming on. Today, we're going to be talking about the work that you do, and that's going to be in the world of performance and development coaching. That can be, again, a vague term for people to understand, to know, well, what is personal development? What is motivation? What is progress? Because progress and success, I mean, they're two words, but there could be different to different people. So how I perceive success or personal development might be different than the person next to me. I know you and me, we're gym buffs. So we like going to the gym. We like lifting heavy things. What I see as progress in the mirror might be not progress for you. So I might be like, I need to work on my chest. I need to work on my biceps. And you were like, no, I need to work on my legs. My legs need some help. And right there, we have the idea of our focus, right? So focus is always going to be different. And we're going to be talking about focus and how we help people focus on the things that they should be working on. But before we do that, please tell the world who you are, what you do, and how you help them.
Well, my name's Shea, and I'm a mindset training and nutrition coach in Australia and Noosa. And what we do is we separate people from their vices, their drugs, alcohol, by using a disciplined mindset training technique with training, exercises, and nutrition. And this kind of just gives people more of stability with their life. And if things are descending into out of control, it gives them a way of stabilizing themselves. So we work on their scheduling. We work on getting them just aligned with their best self.
I find that people are busy, but they are not busy at the same time. So for example, you might hear something, oh, I don't have any time to go to the gym. I don't have any time to work out. I don't have any time to meal prep. I don't have any time to get the life that I deserve. Why do you think people give themselves that excuse or that reason that they don't have time to make a difference in their life?
Well, I mean, can you walk to the fridge? Can you get up off the couch? Like, you got plenty of time. People just think working out and training is this whole big ordeal that they have to go through. They have to go sit in the gym for 2 hours. So they beat themselves up going, oh, I don't want to, I'm not even going to bother if I'm not going to spend the 2 hours in there. It's like, well, no, just go hit some burpees for 10 minutes, do micro workouts. That's, I think, a very big staple in getting people started. It's not this massive commitment, but it is a commitment. It's a commitment that if you say you're going to do it, you do it. So just getting that discipline is a very good starting point for people.
Yeah, they say sometimes if you want to start the habit, you just go to the gym. You can be in the parking lot. It doesn't matter. Just go to the gym, get into the habit of going to the gym, then going on a bike for 5 minutes, treadmill for 5 minutes. Building that habit and that discipline is so important, right?
Yep. Introduce yourself to it. Get uncomfortable. See how you feel when you're in there. You don't have to go all out. Just get in there. As soon as you open that door and you beat that little demon, you've beaten that monster. It's not as scary now. So then you stay in there for 2 minutes next time. Then you go for 5 minutes. So it's just about incrementally building and confronting that fear every single time.
Have you always been into fitness and working out since you were a young man, or has it been something that you had to learn to love?
I definitely been interested in it just because of the whole, when you look good, you feel good. And I've kind of known that since a young age. And I guess getting around friends that had the same kind of interest as well. And they were like, yeah, let's, when you're an adolescent, it's like, let's get in the gym, let's get big. This is what the girls will want. So you're going out of that kind of, that vague kind of association with it. And you're not really understanding the discipline that actually goes into it. And, once you realize that your food coalesces with that and gets you, the more gains. And so, yes, I've been doing it for probably about 15 years, maybe 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I started working out when I was 15. I just had some weights in the house for my dad. And I just started just lifting in the house, just doing anything and everything I could, because we didn't have much weights. We didn't have many machines. We had a bench, a couple dumbbells, curl bar, and I just made up exercises. And YouTube was just becoming to be big at the time. So I was able to go on YouTube, get a couple of workouts, look on the internet for some workouts. And then just from there, eventually I joined the weightlifting team at my high school.
Wow.
And then it was just like, all right, this is good. And it wasn't so much of, I'm getting exercise and stuff like that. I did it for the girls. I'm not going to lie. I was like, the girls like a guy who's in shape. And that right there was my armor, right? I gave myself, I guess, a superficial armor of me looking good. If you look good, you feel good. And from there, that confidence exuded from me. And the girls could tell. The girls were like, this guy is not only in shape, but he's confident. Because before I was maybe a little bit more timid, a little bit more to myself. But then once I got that body, I was just like, I'm the king of the world.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's where we all start. And I think you're starting so young too, you develop that kind of mind to muscle connection as well. So you develop that yourself. And I think that's really good when you're looking at YouTube videos and learning yourself and you take that kind of initiative. I think that's really good for people as well. Like there is plenty of information out there to get you started.
There's also this concept, and we're going to be breaking this down, is that since I'm starting late, it's not worth to start at all. Because if we started young, you've been going for 10, 15 years at this time. I've been going for almost 20 years now. So it's like people see that and they're like, oh, I can't do that. It's just too much. It's going to take me too long to get to the goals and to the results that I'm looking for, right? What is something you tell people? Yeah.
Potentially, like it depends how far behind you are. And I mean, dropping fat is 4 times faster than putting on muscle. Like you can only max out about 1 kilogram a month of muscle gain. So, but you can drop fat 4 times faster than that. So, I mean, people can definitely drop the fat and reveal a physique that is significantly better and get the results of the energy boosting levels just by changing a few of their habits in, say a month, 2 months. So, I mean, I would not get disheartened, because if you are so far behind that it feels like, why bother starting? What happens if you don't start? And things can happen. You've got to be spurred along by what happens if you don't start now, if you just keep going the way you're going. Because I know some people can let themselves really go and it seems like like a mountain to get over, but you're not doing it alone. There's a lot of people out there that can do it. And there's a lot of tools available today that can help you get there the correct way, get you the healthy way. And there's so many available options to people that it's not okay to sit back and just go, I've missed that point in my life, because it's not okay. There's so much more to you. There's so much potential you that if you would just stand up and face it and do the things, you are a lot stronger than you could possibly imagine.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that. People can get to any result at any age, right? It's just a mindset. Like if you want to get into shape, if you want to learn how to play an instrument or learn a different language, you can do it. It doesn't matter if you're 10 or if you're 50 years old, right? It can be done. It's just that you have to put the dedication and the work in. I think that is what shies a lot of people away, is that work aspect. I have to do a lot of work. It's painful. I'm going to be sweating. And it's hard to get over that obstacle.
Yeah, well, I think people only put half, they only make half the sacrifices. And so they don't get quite the results that they want. And they all know, like, in your conscience when you just kind of roll over in bed, like, oh, I'll do it later. And then you don't do it. So the mindset point of things is when you just you've got that unwavering, unshakable mindset that if you don't do it, no one's going to come and do it for you. So you need to understand that it's not about the short-term results. It's about the long view. What are your kids going to think of you? What's your spouse think of you? Because I've been there. I've let myself go to the point, stop training, was getting into, all types of drugs and alcohol when I had the nightclub. And, my spouse left me at the time. So, and then you kind of realize, like, shit, what if I just didn't let myself go? What if I just kept actually doing what I was doing when I met her anyway? Like, that's what she loved about me. And I just let all of that go. So I don't think we put enough emphasis on how important our physical, not appearance, but how our physical feeling is and how well we move our body and how consistently we move our body. Got to put more emphasis on that.
Yeah, I just wrote a blog called Societal Norms. And that right there is a societal norm of we do something to get into a relationship, but then we don't do the things or the maintenance work to maintain that relationship. Another societal norm is closely related to what we're talking about is how people perceive people, right? So here in America, I'm not sure if it's the same over there where you are, but it's okay to be a little bit overweight. Like I'm not talking about just like 5 or 10 pounds. I'm talking about 50 to 70 pounds overweight. In the stores now, right? They have mannequins of, I guess you could say, bigger figures now. They're no
Really?
longer, yes, they're no
Oh my
longer,
goodness.
they're no longer the slender mannequins that you will see. They're spending more money to make bigger mannequins now. So that is a societal norm that's happening over here. I wanted to talk to you about the norms of people being unhealthy and living unhealthy lifestyles to the point of do we take action or do we not take action?
Well, love isn't lies. You know, if you truly love someone and you speak the truth to them and they get offended, that's on them. But I woke up one day and just refused to even allow the people around me to not be honest with them. If I thought, and that's not holding that's just, you hold yourself at a high standard that you see the effects and the positive results that anyone who is not working on themselves must be living uncomfortable, must be completely just anxiety ridden, must be, all these different things. And they need to understand that it's because they're just not confronting their fitness, they're not taking their nutrition seriously. And it's such an easy change and it only has to be small changes every day. But yeah, I think society does play a little key role. And I think culture as well. I think when you get around and you're in those relationships with people or friendship groups and you don't see it, like I've been in that with drugs and alcohol, you're kind of in that culture. And especially in Australia, there is a big alcohol culture here. And comedian and cutting tall poppies down and all that. So you don't want to kind of stick your head up too much. And the moment I stopped being pigeonholed by everyone around me and just said, hang on, this isn't okay. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to put everything on the line because I know that when I was at my worst, the only thing that saved me from that was my training, was my nutrition, was actually focusing in back on me and what I'd actually let go when I was younger.
That's a great point, right? When we're at our worst, we build up from there. And I remember a story in 2016. That's when I kind of let everything go, where I was going through some life traumas and troubles, and it was very tough. It was tough. I just fell into depression. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to eat, to the point where it's just like my body was falling apart. Like literally, it was falling apart. It took me breaking for me to say, you know what, I need to repair myself. I need to get back, right? This was something that was ingrained in me. So at that time, I got a trainer. I had someone just there holding me accountable. I knew how to work out and things like that, but I didn't want to get out of bed. I was so busy being sad and being angry and lonely that I was like, I don't want to do anything. I needed someone to, say, okay, well, at the gym, I need you to do this. And from that point, I started working out and I started getting back in the rhythm. And then I just took myself out of that whole circumstance. And then I started from scratch. I moved away from my house or from my hometown. And I just said, okay, I need to build again. And that was when I started the whole transformation of my body and things like that. Because growing up, I've always been, I guess you could say, like slender tone, where you have your six pack and you got, like your muscles and stuff like that. But it's different than if you're like a big guy. Like if someone sees me now, I'm like a bodyguard. So it's like when it's one of those things that I was looking for, and that's what I wanted to give myself the perception as, right, the bodyguard. So I built my body up from there, and then from there I was creating the foundation of the rest of my life. Because from that 2016 to 2017, that transformation in the gym, all the way to this day, I now have a business, I have a wife, I have a family, a son, and that all happened from me creating a strong foundation. I wanted to talk to you, and I wanted to get maybe your method of creating that strong foundation for someone. And it doesn't just have to be workout and nutrition. It could be anything.
Yeah, well, if someone comes to me, I think they've got to really break down their schedule. Like, where are they spending their time? What are they doing on a daily basis? And I understand from my own experience, when you are in that depressive state, when you can't see a way through, you get tunnel vision, you get really tunnel vision. And you've got to confront yourself. You've got to really confront your thoughts. Are you being a bitch? And I don't want to say that as like, but confront yourself. Are you putting everything in order that you can? Are you doing everything you can to make your life better? What are you doing? Jordan Peterson says it the best. He says, sit on the end of your bed one day and going, what remarkably stupid things am I doing wrong, to absolutely mess up my life, and fix it. And what can I do that I would do to fix that? So incremental, 1% better every day. But your conscience knows, better than anyone. No one else will know as well as you what needs to be done. So I would say, first of all, get your sleep cycle down, because that is the biggest thing. Sleep. You need a schedule, and no one can live without a schedule. And then I would say, start writing the things that you want. Get out of that state. Go have a coffee, whatever you need to do, just to write a little bit about what positives you would want for your future. And then write about what negatives, what will happen with your life if you continue doing what you're doing and you don't make any changes. So then you've got something that's chasing you, your fear of what might happen, and then what the positives are. So then you've got something to pursue. So that's pulling you forward. So two kind of ways to kind of get out of that.
I love was waking up in the morning and then having that moment or that aspect of self-assessment, right? I check in, I go, where am I, right? Like, am I 10%? Am I 50%? Am I 100%? And if I'm not 100%, I start asking myself why. Maybe I stayed up too late last night. Maybe I ate poor quality food. Maybe, I'm just not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing all the wrong things. I hold myself accountable. And that's where people fall short, being accountable. Because if I don't have to push myself, I won't. The body loves to be in a state of homeostasis, right? This is comfortable. This is nice. Why do I have to change everything, right? People might look in the mirror. They might have a couple extra pounds on them, and they didn't die yet. They didn't have a heart attack yet. So what's the point? Why should I even bother, right? And that's the whole world of personal development. It's like people wait until everything has fallen apart in their life before they take action, or immense action. They get that doctor's note saying, hey, if you don't start changing something, you're going to have a heart attack in, like 3 months or something like that. That's that jolt that wakes people up. Why do people wait for that moment rather than just saying, all right, I'm on the side of the bed. How am I messing up my life, and how do I fix that?
Well, I think people need that why. I think people don't articulate a why enough. They don't have a reason to get up because there's nothing spurring them along. All of a sudden you have some dragon that comes along that is you've got cancer, or you've got high cholesterol and you're about to have a heart attack. That's your why. You're like, oh shit, now I need to fix this, otherwise I'm dying. So it's not apparent to me anyway that until you hit rock bottom, or you see, unless you've articulated your why prior, that you have that incline to do it, because everything's normal. You think, this is just the way I am. This is just how I've always been. Why would I ever change? So I think people got to realize that they can be so much more than they are, and that they're operating well below the capacity of their human body. The human body used to fight, chase, run after food. It's remarkable that we all came from that. We all did come from it. Somewhere along the line, our ancestors used to do that. So, you've got that all inside of you. It's just there's so much availability of food, comfort, things around. You can go sit on the couch and not even move. So, people have got to have that why. And I think that why definitely comes from rock bottom, is one of the biggest motivators, because if you've got something chasing you like that, that'll get you out of bed.
And then we live in a world where our why might not be our why. It might be someone else's why, because we have social media, and it's so prevalent in everyone's lives, where if I open up a video on TikTok or YouTube, I can see how a person is. Oh, they have this body. And then we start that comparing aspect, right? They're there and I'm here. Or they have that denial. Oh, I'll never have that type of body, or something like that, right? I'm too old. I'm too short, or whatever it is, right? They begin making the excuses. How do you help people stop making excuses and stop looking on the outside for the why?
Well, you've got to bring that back to yourself. I know it's difficult to go against that, because it's it's so available, and it bombards us every day that everyone's got this highlight reel of their life, that it's so well and going so beautifully. But, you've got to look at it. Are you better than you were yesterday? And I mean, I wrangle this every single day. I wrangle it, this comfortable, where you're just like, oh, I've got this. I'm happy where I am now. And then I'm like, motherfucker, no, you're not. Look at where you were. This is the complete mindset that you had that got you when you just got comfortable, when you thought, oh, I'll just sleep in. That mindset straight away, you've got to look at yourself. You're improving yourself here. And, what happens if you don't start? That's the thing. If you never, ever started, that would be the detriment. That's what you should be running away from. And you should be pursuing the potential that you could have inside. And you've got to, I would cut off all of the people that I've got this highlight reel, that are just waving it in my face. Get that as like a little bit of motivation. Like, yeah, there's something to aim at, but what are you doing? That's my biggest thing. What are you doing? And I would be asking that question.
That's a powerful question to ask because it really allows a person to not just look on the surface level. Like, what are you doing? I remember when my brother, this was like, I was like 20, 21, maybe 22 at the time. I was still in college and he had came into my room and he had asked me if I was happy. And I was like, am I happy? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. I look good. I got good grades. I got girls. I got money. I was like, why would I not be happy? But then he asked me the same question again. But then he goes, but are you happy? And then I was like, damn it. I was like, am I happy? I was like, I didn't know. And the question you just asked, right? Like, what am I doing? Right? Like, am I living to the fullest capabilities that I can? Maybe the first time you ask it, you might say, yeah, of course. Yeah. I am. Oh, yeah. But ask yourself it again. And this time, slow it down. But am I? Because then you're going to hit your subconscious, right? Now we're getting to that subconscious because the subconscious is so powerful. It's going to help you get to the life that you are dreaming of. We all have lofty goals. We all have a place we want to be, right? Whether it be a big house, a lot of cars. If you're a guy, like a plethora of women. If you are a girl, maybe high status guy. So we have this idea for how we want the end result to be, yet we don't have the habits and the actions that are going to dictate the results of those desires in the future. So the person has to really become true to themselves and ask, well, what am I doing in order to get this house, get these cars, get the guy, get the girl? Because if you just kind of say, well, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm doing everything I can, then that right there is a mindset of complacency. Because
it's a fixed mindset.
Yeah. Because we have to get into that growth state. Because if we just stay where we are, we're always going to have the same thing. And people think, well, if I keep doing the same thing, things will eventually change. But that's the definition of insanity.
Yeah. So you've got to really be honest with yourself, face yourself in the mirror. Like I remember standing in my mirror one day just going, are you giving everything you have? I was at my worst point. I was training about 4 times a day. I was doing all these micro workouts just to get myself, because I had this anchor of a crushing weight that was just holding me to the floor, and I was dragging my feet everywhere I went. And I was like, are you serious? Is this all you're capable of? Is this absolutely everything? And I ended up just hitting myself with it. It's almost like you are fighting yourself. You are fighting yourself to get rid of that, because that is the whole mindset. That is the whole mindset thing where you've got the comfortability that has led you down this path that has taken you to exactly where you are miserable. And now you've got this new path that you should be doing, but it's difficult because it hurts and it's confronting exactly who you are. And for me, that was almost like a battle against myself. And it was like every time I had that voice where it was like, oh no, I don't feel like doing it, I would just jump up out of it. I would run away from that feeling. I would run into push-ups. I'd run into go boxing. I would run into doing the exact opposite of whatever that was. And that, that has just propelled me significantly forward, and things got better. I mean, how can they not? How can they not get better when you listen to the voice that tells you you should be doing more? You know what you should be doing. Everyone knows what they should be doing. That's how I overcame it.
I have a good feeling that people know what they're supposed to be doing, but then sometimes they kind of go, I'm not going to look at it. So they kind of like turn a blind eye. And what you said about like the mirror is so powerful. A lot of people, they'll go into the mirror and they'll just see if their hair is okay. They'll see if they have anything in their teeth, right? But they don't really like at themselves. Like I'm sure like just something that you do on a regular practice or daily basis. It's like you look at yourself, especially like in the gym, you're like, okay, like I like where this is going. I need to fix this. The legs need a little bit of work. I work on the legs a little bit, the back. Okay. I need to do a little bit more rows and things like that. We see that, we make the adjustments. People are so afraid to see themselves because then they see the results they have attained by not doing things, or maybe they see that they have so much work to do and they're like, oh, quick, right? There's a thing here in America, I don't know if it's over there in Australia, where being obese or being overweight or being out of shape is considered okay, right? You're big and beautiful, you're fine just the way you are. And this was a woman thing, but now it became a man thing also, where a man, you could be overweight now and you can be handsome and you could be a stellar guy and you could be a knight. So it's just causing us to not take action because it's the societal norm. But if we look in the mirror and we truly become real and we ask ourselves, like, honestly, truly, this is, like, is this what I want? And if our ancestors who are running after animals and chasing food and stuff like that, they wouldn't be able to keep up. They wouldn't be able to get their food. They would die. They would die because they didn't have the body. They didn't have the physique. And we now live very docile lives, very calm lives where everything can be given to us. But sometimes we have to go out and we have to go get the things that life is not going to give us. Life is not going to give us abundance. Life is not going to give us, mansions and all the happiness that we can dream of. We have to go get that. We have to go get that.
Even if you were given that perfect body with your habits, you wouldn't be able to sustain it. You would be 6 to 12 months, you would be back to exactly the way you're looking. Even if you were won the genetic lottery with the habits that you have now, you would not be able to sustain it. So I just say that simply. Even if you were given it for free, you wouldn't be able to sustain it. So what does that mean? Does that mean you have to change? I think so. The body positivity stuff, it's like, I have a little bit of a joke, the body positivity stuff. It's like, well, the cut will be insane, it's like they'll have an insane cut with that. But I mean, you cannot tell me, you can be as positive as you want, but I tell you right now that you would be better if you didn't have all the fat off you. You would be able to pick up on the cues of life better. Your mindset would be better. You would be thinking a completely different way if you were in shape. And, I just can't fathom how everyone just accepts that you're okay the way you are, because it's destructive It's destructive. It's just giving people the easy way out. And I don't think we're not built as humans to have the easy way out. We want to pull against a load. We want something difficult. We want to know that we're doing something other than just sitting on the couch, feeding ourselves with chocolates and whatever the hell else, there's more to us. And we crave that. And deep down, we know we need that. We know we need it.
There has to be a life hack that we can use to change the way we think or to look at society or people in a different light. I know for me, what I did was every morning when I was really making a big change in my life, I woke up, it was 4 o'clock in the morning, right? Sometimes it's cold at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? You don't want to get out of bed. Like the bed is saying, don't leave me, don't leave me. And you're thinking why you want to break up that relationship is so good already. And you have to be bigger than that. And so at 4 o'clock, my alarm clock rang, but instead of just like a regular annoying, alarm clock, motivational speeches came on, so like you can set up the playlist where it's just motivational speeches would come on. And that's the first thing I would give myself. And I would just digest it. I would wake up almost immediately and then, listen to that on the way to the gym, listen to it in the gym, listen on the way back from the gym. And then I began my day. That was a life hack for me, right? Not allowing myself to stay into comfort of that bed, right? It was difficult, especially when you're at a low point, especially when you have big changes to make. It was a lot of work. I just had to not be afraid of the work. And that was a life hack for me where I listened to motivational speeches to motivate me. I know motivation is temporary, but it was something that sparked something in me where I was just like, no more, I'm not going to fall again, right? And since that date, I mean, it's been 5 years, even through the pandemic, it's like I have not stopped. That was something that just kind of set that rewiring phase for me, right? So that brain hack. Do you have any tips or tricks or brain hacks that you've learned in your life, your career, that can help people rewire their way of thinking from living in that comfortable bed and then going out and getting what they're supposed to get?
Getting up is your first test. Is your conscience first test? Are you serious? Are you really serious? Do you really want it? That's your first test, is waking up when you say you're going to wake up. And do not miss that no matter what. Wake up at the same time every single day. And that is my first kind of hack. But I mean, you just said it with your motivational speeches. They were great because they gave you the possibility that there's something more to you, that you're capable of more and you're stronger, and that there's people out there that are doing it. And that, what's your excuse? Why are things so bad? And I think you've got to use a bit of like the law of relativity, where you've got to look at, is my life really this bad? Is my problems really this bad that I can't do something simple like go to the gym in the morning, that I can't eat right? What am I running away from? So my kind of hacks would be, you've got to condition your mind. Like you said, it's the motivation stuff. You've got to be consuming the content. The habits have to be structured, that they're going to feed back positively. Like you've got to stop drinking because that's poison. You've got to stop doing drugs because that's poison. So you've got to remove yourself from all these environments that will trigger your, whatever it is, that isn't aligned with your best self. So I would say just stay away from the places where people do things that you don't want to do. I would say start writing in what you actually want. Start actually getting specific about the things that would improve your life. And then I would just consume content consistently around that. Now, mind hacks as well, I would just say, do not break your word once. Don't break it once. If you say you're going to do it, don't break it, not once, because your conscience is listening every single time. And this goes for everything. This goes for porn. This goes for getting up. This goes for hitting the gym. This goes for anything that you predetermined is valuable. Go for it and don't ever miss. And you'll be amazed at the things that come from that. And get around people that are doing it too. People that are that want to see you win and that are honest. Don't treat people that are being honest with you about maybe you're not performing well or you're not doing, or that are trying to keep you away from your bad habits. Don't treat them like they're some sort of bad person. They actually probably care about you more than 99% of the other people you're conversing with.
It's that lie there. It's like, I would rather someone tell me the truth than lie to me so I can be comfortable. It's a hard pill to swallow sometimes if someone's saying, hey, you're not showing up. Like you need to rise to your effing game. It could be hard to accept that because it's a realization that that you're trying to hide from. And we can't hide from it any longer. One of the brain hacks I utilized was the 5-second rule. It's like I give myself 5 seconds to do something and I would just count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as soon as I hit 1 or 2, I was up. I was just like, all right, I don't have a choice. Yeah, I had a choice. Everyone has a choice, right? But it's the wrong choice if you don't take action. So if I don't want to go to the gym one day, let's say it's a rainy day outside and maybe I just don't feel 100%, I can say, well, you know what? I should take today off and rest when there's really nothing wrong with me. Like, I can understand if I'm dying and I have like the flu and I'm like throwing up and stuff like that, stay home, right? I don't want to get anyone else sick. But if I'm just kind of saying I don't want to go out because I don't want to get wet because the rain, I don't want to drive in the rain, that is a poor excuse.
That is. And I think that's a great book, by the way, that 5-second rule. I think that's by Mel Robbins.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic book. I've read that too. But that goes into the law of diminishing intent. It's like, if you say you're going to do something and the law of diminishing intent says if you don't do it within 48 hours, the likelihood that you do it, you won't do it at all. So that's a very powerful one too. But I think, the excuse is not good enough because we say rest, we say balance, we say all of these things, but that's what's got you there. That's what has got you the way you are. And you don't even know your limits. I would say you don't even know what balance is. You're on the complete opposite side of balance. You're way too comfortable. You don't even know what the limits of what you can do are, because if you did, you would be optimally sitting there and just back it off a tiny bit so you can sustain it. And I don't think people just use the excuse of balance and rest and don't even know what their limit is. So how do you know if it's balance if you don't know what your limit is?
I always talk about this on the podcast. I always say I go to the gym typically by myself. I have people in the gym that can help me out, spot me, things like that. I'll talk to. Sometimes we'll work out together, but it's a rare thing. It's not like an everyday thing. If I had a trainer, I would be better than where I am today. That's it. If I had someone like a workout partner every single day saying, hey, we're doing this, I would be better than where I was today. And I'm in a good place. I'm not going to say I'm not, but I'm just saying mentally, right? If I had a trainer, I would be better. And the same aspect is true for a personal development coach, life coach, mindset coach. If you had a trainer, you will be better than where you are right now. That's just the way it is, right? People think, oh, I'm doing well, I'm doing good. But when they get someone to say, hey, blind spot, this can be improved on, you're like, dang, I thought I was doing good.
This is why people stay in the same place for so long. You see that consistent dude that's been going to the gym for 3 years with no results. I see it all the time. And, it's about having that one more mindset. Ed Milet says it. He goes, you've got to have one more in everything you do. Everything you do, one more. If you think you failed at that, if you're in the gym and you do a set of squats and you go like, oh, I've just done my 10th one and you rack it back. If you can still rack it back, you should be going to failure. You know what I mean? So you need that extra one more mindset to failure. Then you've done the right thing. And I understand having a spot is a better way to do that as well. But you can put like things that stop you from dropping the weight. You have support brackets and things like that. So, but yeah, that one more mindset, you need that. And that's what a coach is fantastic for, to keep you accountable.
Mm-hmm. And it is all a mindset, because when you're in the gym, you're lifting heavy things, there could be just a small whisper in your head like, hey, don't get hurt, make sure you can put this back up. And so we always will stop short. We can do maybe 3, 4 more, but we stop right before there because we know we can safely, get this bar back up. But if you have someone there helping us, Doesn't matter if we fail, they're there to support us. And I wanted to talk to you just about the importance of having a coach as we begin to wrap up, but the importance to have a coach in your corner in your life that's going to be there to be your spotter, to be your support, to be your guide.
Yeah. Well, for me, I found how important it was when I went through the breakup, when I went through rock bottom and trying to climb out of that. I had one friend that called me every single night, and just checked on me, made sure that he was the only one, and checked that because he saw what I was like, and he was like, this is not normal for Shea at all. And he called me every single night. And he made sure that I was doing my thing. He goes, well, what are you doing today? What are you doing? And he was just constantly at me. And it was just nice to know that I had that support there, someone that was going to keep me accountable. And I don't give him all the credit. I still climbed out of it myself. And like, you still have to climb out of it yourself. But sometimes we need just that voice of reason, just that little bit of something that's, hey, you're not everything you can be. You know, this isn't normal. You're better than this. You can do more than this. This is the way through. And so that's what I found was the most important. And that's what actually started me on this. I was like that. I didn't think that depression or any of these things that hold us down were real. So I was like, oh, whatever. But I hadn't been through something that was dark enough. And then just having that person there and having that person that pushed me consistently, I was like, man, that is invaluable. Absolutely invaluable.
Most people are better than what they're giving, right? We're all better than what we're giving. We always can push a little bit more, be a little more, do a little bit more, right? There's always that one more step, one more rep, one more time for us to shine. I know sometimes the brain can get in the way. I know sometimes society can get in the way, but we have to be bigger than that. We have to be bigger than our excuses. Our excuses cannot reign supreme and run rampant in our life. We have to find some accountability, and we have to have the action as as the person in charge, have the accountability there. We can have people telling us all day long, hey, you're better than this, you can do this, but you have to be the person at the end of the day or the beginning of the day. It's up to me, right? And your best life is up to you. And I think that right there can be scary for people, but we do have to get over that fear, and we have to get over that complacency.
Yep. You're the only one that can do it, and you've got to be responsible for your life. And it's irresponsible for you to expect that everyone else has to put up with your negativity, that everyone else has to put up with your heart failure at an early age. It's irresponsible that your kids have to put up with a dad that can't run around with them. That is irresponsible. You need to be responsible for your life. And this is why a coach is so valuable, because they will show you not the shortcuts, but they will show you the correct way to get the positive feedback loop. So you're not turning your wheels. You won't just feel like you're getting nowhere. You will have someone that'll keep you accountable, and it's measurable, and you will see progress fastest.
And I loved everything we talked about. It was not only about nutrition and personal wellness, it's about really looking at a person's potential for what they can do, right? That personal development aspect is possible for any soul. Is sometimes we just need a light sometimes to be shined into the dark areas of our life. And, the work that you do, I know is going to be that light for people. As we begin to wrap up, can you share with us any last words? And then please tell the audience where they can find you.
Oh, I think, guys, there's a lot more to you than you could possibly imagine. And what you think is possible is only what you've been exposed to. And that life and the world is a lot bigger and a lot larger than you could possibly imagine. So you guys can find me on Instagram at Shea Fox. That's SHEADFOX.
Okay, perfect. I will put that link in the description box below. If you have a website or anything or email, I'll probably find it. You say you don't have it, but I'm gonna find something, and we're gonna put it in there so people can reach you, because I know not everyone uses Instagram, but Instagram is a great way for people to get in contact to you, and it's very easy to use. It's so user friendly. It's one of the platforms I utilize also. I encourage people to check you out, Shea, so they can stay up to date with all the work that you're doing. And then, of course, to reach out to you and to ask some questions that maybe they have going on in their mind after this conversation, because we all have the capabilities to do well and to be well and to have more. But if you don't have that person in your life to, push yourself that extra bit, that right there is the determining factor for a lot of people. And everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs a mentor, a guide, a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance, because we're going to get so much further. I want to thank you so much for coming on and having this conversation with me today.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it.
All right, everyone. I'd like to thank you so much for watching the interview with Shea Fox and myself. As you can see, he's a personal development coach, helping people understand that they can get more out of their life, out of their day. Every day we have an opportunity when we wake up to be something, to do something. Sometimes people show up, sometimes people fall short. How can we show up more than we fall short? How can we have more successful days than days that we failed or days that we didn't want to push ourselves? It's a difficult concept for some people because they think they're doing all the things they can. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. My schedule is packed. Denzel Washington says, do not mistake movement for progress. Or someone else said it, but I know he is kind of famous for saying it. And that's where we are. People are mistaking movement for progress. And we cannot allow our way of thinking, right? When we're just saying, okay, well, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. I'm showing up in the areas I'm supposed to be showing up. I'm going to work. I'm paying the bills. But truly, are you living in your why? Are you living in your reason? And this is where people struggle, right? They don't understand just how much they can be or how much more they can be. They think there's a limit to life when there's no limit. We create limits for ourselves, but there's no limit. If you can envision something for yourself, a lofty goal, a big dream, your most desired place, most desired life, then why not try each and every day to get there in incremental steps? What is that process? Do you know that process? Think of it as a business plan. You just don't want to start a business without a business plan. You want to know what you're doing, what your company stands for, your mission, that statement. And then from there, build and grow, build and grow. And you keep on building. Sometimes you might have a setback. You might hit rock bottom. Build and grow, build and grow. Sometimes you're going to have a moment where you are not confident in yourself, where you are going to have a bunch of self-doubt, negative thoughts. I want you to build and grow, build and grow. And you're going to start to see just from the process of building every single day, growing every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year, it's going to become a habit. You're going to start to do the good things in your life. You're going to start to rewire how you're living right now. The things that you're doing right now that are not helping you in any aspect, you're going to stop that. Whether it be coming home and sitting on the sofa and just turning on the TV, or picking up the remote and turning on the TV. Maybe you're going to pick up a book and you're going to learn about yourself. You're going to learn about habits. You're going to learn about potential. And that is what you have, an unlimited amount of potential within you. How do you get there? I always recommend a coach. I always recommend someone in your corner who's going to help you, who's going to guide you, who's going to support you on your dreams. We all have a dream. We all have a goal. Now, whether you want to acknowledge that goal, especially acknowledge your lofty goals and dreams, you have to be brave enough. You have to have that courage. You have to have a little bit of wisdom too. We only have one life. We need to show up every single day. We need to build. We need to grow. We need to show up. We need to develop into the people that we're supposed to be. And if you're having a hard time, I encourage you, get yourself a coach, whether it be Shea or myself. Get yourself some guidance, someone in your corner who's going to be there to lift you up when you don't want to get up. Get up, show up. And then right there, I guess you can say that's going to be the point in your life where you start to see, where everything starts to adjust in its rightful way. Because you might be living a life that's very comfortable, but you can create a new comfort zone that's even better than where you are. Challenge yourself, aim high and reach high, and you're going to reach it eventually. People think, well, if I reach and I fail, was it even worth reaching at all? It's always worth it. Failure is just an opportunity to learn. We learn, we grow, we build. So keep on building, keep on growing, keep on asking the questions that are going to keep on pushing you to think in a more profound way. And that's what we're trying to do in our life, to create profound meaning, to create a life that has been honed again and again and again until perfection. What is perfection? Perfection is going to be exactly what success is, whatever you define it as. Perfection could be a never-ending story, could be a never-ending goal, but it's something that we give ourselves a why for, a purpose for, a mission for. This is what we're doing, creating the best people in the world, a person at a time, a group at a time, a country at a time. It doesn't matter. The goal is developing people into their highest capabilities, into their highest selves. You have that potential too. So stop waiting, stop lingering. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror, and don't be afraid to accept the challenge, which is your best self. Take that challenge today, and you're going to see it's going to be one of the best things you have done, developing into the person you're supposed to be rather than the person that you are today. My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach. If you have any questions, you can email me coachinginsession@gmail.com. And I will see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone take care.